A group of individuals in the nation are expecting to receive Honorable Kyagulanyi tomorrow. What is government's communication on the matter?
I certainly, as the leader, one of the regulators in the country, in charge of youth affairs in the country, you realize that the majority of these people are young people. Certainly, this is not a surprise because nationally, the figure is that the majority of the people are young. So you do not expect any assembly to be constituting less of a group, especially when it involves dynamism, movement, and expression. So, but the fact of the matter is that what is the cause? What is behind that? And can the cause be addressed? Can the cause be addressed through the established forum? Can the concerns be addressed that way? So I think that is what we should address. Currently, as the minister, I'm grappling with the issue of unemployment in the country. It is a challenge. It is critical. It's a critical challenge, but you have to look at the circumstances. You look at the numbers that are overwhelming. The increase in population, that means that the reduction in mortality rates. And in neonatal death, which has reduced greatly, the people who used to die at infancy stage have reduced greatly. So you're having more people. The pyramid is upward shrinking. You look at more people within the young docket as opposed to the elders docket. So we are working, head on. We are working tooth and nail to ensure that the young people can have a shoulder to lean on in terms of creating skills for them, scaling and retooling them in the various avenues, as well as ensuring that at least these people can be capitalized to give them capital equipments and transversing not only in the central region, but also the far-to-reach areas, which are the majority of the districts in the country. So now, amidst what is happening, we have to ask the question that who is inciting these people? Because as we grapple to get them together into constructive dialogue, then they are being wooed, they are being utilized. And then the question is that how many have been successful through that module? Because we have seen so much of it happening, but still the problem persists. So I would like to challenge the leaders of these incitements to tell me that, for example, I will ask Honorable Kyagulanyi to tell me the statistics, especially of the young people below the age of 16. Tell me, because we have had a report from such reports as UNICEF. These are people who are right here in the country, not year, not 2, not 3 years. They have been here, they're on ground, they are making research, and they give us the figures. We as government, we rely on these figures to inform us of the next action. So I would like someone to point at areas and tell me the child has been thrown in this region. This is the region that has the highest number of dropouts. This is this, so that we work together as leaders. Because youth problems cannot be solved on the streets. And I repeat this. Youth problems cannot be solved in the streets. Whenever you gang people together who are in less developed countries, chances are that you ignite them, the anger mushrooms. So that is what must be a question to all these people, that we want to see their own children and their own people coming at the front, if they think that that is a way to solve issues. But they leave their people at home, they leave them in foreign schools, they leave them, enjoying the good life, and then they take on to our most vulnerable communities. So I sound this to sound a warning to the young people that if you have something to do or you don't have anything to do, the street for riotism and following, and that is not the place for you. The place is not that one. So I really have to sound it out to them and to warn them. Because I was in Nuzira, I transversed all these places, and I realized that almost a bigger percentage is as a result of political crime. And the people who incited them are flying all over. They are being praised. They are being taken away for VIP handling. They are being given ambience. So this is a lesson to learn, that where will it leave you as your leader is being cherished and is getting up the political ladder? Where will it leave you? So as a leader, I caution out to the young people. We have anticipated activities tomorrow. We have all the other time, but I have to warn the young people that eventually you'll be one facing the law, going to jail, being having the rubber bullets, and again missing out on the job because the person who is inciting you has a job and a salary. I know that we are all in this struggle of ensuring that the youth must be employed. That is why we have many of these programs coming on. So I implore these leaders leaders to make sure that they give us statistics. We don't have to have blanket statements. We need statistics and to prove whether we are doing the right thing at the right time with your contribution, not with your criticism.
One would say that unemployment is a driver sending a certain crowd to the streets to be violent. Has government carried out a survey to find the root cause?
No, it's not that alone, because it is something to do with money. Because everybody, most of them who go to many of these areas are paid. I have been in these things, I know. You're paid, for example, earlier days, to put on a red ribbon, you would earn 5,000. So this is a business of sorts, and we have all the data. And it's not only that, because not only that is displayed on the street is real, because they enjoy the messages. They enjoy the messages that are being given to them, most of which are not true. And that's why I point to them to ask for statistics. That people should point out to you, if there is a problem, where is it? What village, what sub-county, what is the name of that person? So that we can take action. But it is not enough to say, Uganda is this. Uganda is big, and you're part of Uganda anyway. So as a leader who earns a salary, what is your mandate? What have you done for the people who in that particular locality where you were and where you were elected, if you were elected at all? So this is a call to all the young people to ensure that you're not utilized. You're utilized, but you're not used. Don't get used, because at the end of the day, you'll be alone when someone has flown away and is getting higher and higher. I've seen this. I have thousands of youth who are crying now for judicial help. They are saying, give me lawyers, give me lawyers. But I wasn't part of the streets that they went on to. But out of the fact that I'm a leader, I'm a mother, I come up to, to give them assistance. So when they are alone, they see the light. But when they are wooed together and they are paid, and some of them are still arguing that they were not paid, so there's a lot that is happening. But now we are out to always show the way and tell them that if you have anything that you can do, please abstain and desist from being used.
The head of state started a presidential initiative on skilling the girl child. He's considered the ghetto boys as well, and recently boosted youth circles. You're also part of such great initiatives. Would you say Ugandans are not appreciative?
Well, most of them who have accessed that are appreciative. We'll need to look at the numbers, because when you talk about our programs, the percentage is almost 1% or less than 10%. So the 90 who have not yet accessed the same program, like money, hard cash. Remember, money is not the only motivator, because we were rich without the money exchange. Golden days had better trade. So how come we were rich without money? So money is not the only forum where people believe that they are rich. The exchange is not money or the gauging line. But the question is that those who do not appreciate have not yet got the aid, because we are talking about 12 million youth between the age of 18 to 30. So it is almost a nightmare for the government to reach out to them at a go, because the fact of the matter is that wealth creation and employment is not the sole job of the government. It is a tripartite relationship between you, the government, and the private sector. So if the private has freedom, if there are no these movements and riots and all over, they're the very ones that contribute towards reduction in employment. It is actually the other way around, that if you think you're echoing and making noise that they create employment for you, you're instead demobilizing the community to create employment, because shops are locked, they will not sell that day, they will not pay salaries, they will be looted. There are all those things. So the question comes that, is that the right method that you're doing? So those who have not reached out cannot praise, because they have not got what they probably are expecting. So, but chances are that if there is harmony, then certainly everybody will be reached out to, because that's what everyone wishes. These are our children. There's no foreignty in being a Ugandan. You're either Ugandan or you're not. So being an African and a Pan-African is a different thing. You cannot say you're an African without being a Pan-Africanist, because that means you're not adding value to your country. Yes, which is very dangerous.
People lose property and others die because of the violence. Should we expect deployment tomorrow? What are government's plans for security?
I'm so confident that the security organs are fully in control, and that's what they have made us believe and seen in the past 30 years, that this is not the first of its kind, but they are always in control. But even in the unlikely event that there is a disharmony, I think they are they are able to control. But what is important in it all is that Nelson Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah said that violence is what holds a nation, violence is what overthrows government, and violence is what keeps the government in power. So if you breed violence, certainly you must be handled the way you come. So expect that garbage in, garbage out. You push in that, you force people to react, then certainly they will react. So if you have your neighbor who is like trying to prepare for tomorrow, just caution out and say, we are together as a nation. So for us, we want to make sure that our youth get employed, and I think we have very successful stories to date. Almost 22% have all been reached now, and in the past 6 months, the speed is going to triple, completely triple. So those out there who have not been reached out to, we are on the way. So settle down and expect us to get to you, and out of Kampala we go.
It's a citizen responsibility to end what we are experiencing. The masses that go on streets have parents, guardians, teachers. What would be your message for them?
There's not a single issue that is here that is not in other countries. And it is not today, not yesterday. The numbers that we are grappling with have been, this is a problem that has built over generations, that has emanated out of failure probably to listen to ideas, that has been out of people not adhering to the law, that has come out of the fact that people want quick gains, that has come out of the fact that there's corruption. It's a whole magnitude of events that nobody can excite you, parents. Nobody should excite you and tell you that tomorrow, though, it's going to be a change, because Ugandans are the same Ugandans who are here now, before and after. So we need to handle these issues with sanity and know that what was our role as part of the problem. Did you give birth to children you can look after? Did you listen to this? Did you plan? Did you do this? Did you pay taxes? Did the government use your money very well? Was it considerate to your plans and programs? Did it provide the infrastructure that is necessary for you to perform, like roads, security, health, education? Mention it. So that is where the contention is. But it's not a day's problem, and it cannot be solved in a day, all on the street. No. We are grappling with 29% of the children that are parentless. Some of them don't have names because the fathers simply denied and they could not give them names. So in the likely event that you have children who are parentless, they have nobody to look unto. They are desperate right from day one, right from year one. So the burden that the government is carrying is huge. So huge that almost it's grappling with this kind of homeless and helpless children, that fighting with social media and harassment, fighting with unemployment and poverty and credit crunch all over the world. So those are issues that make the government sometimes reduce speed in terms of its performance. So we are having children who are not well mentored, that they simply don't have any answers as they leave the streets. They don't have any answers. So that is where you find that almost 600 homes were illegal. People simply take the law in their hands. So for the parents out there, know that the problem is probably bigger, but it's worsening with the kind of violence that might be a choice.
Would you agree to the fact that social media has really triggered or sparked such violence in the nation?
Yes, we also have to be cautious of the changes in technological advancement in the world. One thing, they have a connotation with the economy, that almost you can spend a meal-less day, but you cannot spend a day without the social media. So, but you think about the money that you give to the headquarters in Canada. When will your grandfather, grandmother, directly access this one? Because each time you touch the button, you're sending money away. So then the question comes: were we better off with the agriculture, with the way of living that we were in? And if we are to translate now to get into the e-commerce, where do we leave the morals? How do we compare notes and say, I can still visit my friend and see that friend so that I can borrow a leaf from the infrastructure? I said, this one has a home. I didn't know. We were together in high school. How come I don't have a house? So that kind of comparative advantage fades away because people believe that they are equal because they all have a phone. But you're not equal. Someone you're talking to is probably driving a different car. So we need to reflect on all these. Where does technological development leave you as a young person? And what do you lose whenever you recklessly. So you can watch as much as you can and it gets onto your brain. Some of the messages are completely wrong and they have been disproved after some time. But where did it leave you the time you believed it and you reacted? How do you overdo the history? So many of these things have to be talked about. The youth, you know, you might not be like me, but the channel that I took is the one that you should probably have taken in order to be where you are. So we have to watch out and say, until my friend makes positive contribution to my life through social media, you should not take it that you should always switch on when there's a political laughter to do. So I think that is one of the challenges that we have in the country.